reactions, interviews and more. Subscribe.
Fight fans, welcome, and I'm delighted to get back on the channel today. Gary Spike O'Sullivan. Gary, I hope you're well.
Very good, Darren. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's great to get you back on, and once again, thanks for your time for coming on my channel.
My pleasure.
Cheers. Well, it's Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn fight week. I'm very interested to get your opinions on this fight as a man who shared the ring, obviously, with Chris Eubank Jr. The first fight, Conor Benn was defeated, but was you surprised how well Conor Benn done in the first fight?
Yeah, I was surprised to an extent. I thought Eubank's t-shirt that he wore in the lead up to the fight was pretty spot on. I would agree with his 60% logo or slogan or whatever you want to call it. I think that's the truth, in my opinion. And I haven't had 38 pro fights myself and been boxing for my entire life for the last 36 years. I know a lot about making weight, and it's just not making the weight. I mean, he struggled again in 2015 to make the weight against me, which is 10 years back. So it's obviously getting that bit harder. Now he has been making it his last couple of fights, but the thing is, this rehydration clause is the issue for me. It's a massive issue, and his father is rightly concerned as to his health. You know, his brain certainly wouldn't rehydrate properly. You know, at that rehydration clause, and I think you know, it's on Team Benn and his all of his team. If something bad happens to Chris Eubank Jr. On Saturday night, I blame them. Did a big part playing it, and I just hope nothing bad happens. You know, and senior, is concerned with you know, having lost his son already, and also having travesties in his own career with Michael Watson, of course, and you know, nobody wants to see that. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you mentioned there about the rehydration clause. I was going to ask you that, about what your opinions are on that rehydration clause. You mentioned something quite key there about not just the physicality, about like the brain as well. Like it's a key point. It's not just of how you look, is it? It's everything else that goes with it, isn't it? You know as yourself as a boxer, don't you?
100%. I mean, the older you get, I think, is the kind of more weight you put on. I find after the weigh-in, and then you know, I think Eubank could probably put on 20 pounds if he was allowed to rehydrate properly. I'd imagine, you know, at this stage in his career, and I think it's very detrimental to him, and it's dangerous. And I don't agree with it. You know, I know, and people will say, okay, Eubank's much the bigger man, basically, but look, Benn's agreeing to fight him anyway. So I mean. You know,
well, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, the fight has been agreed. It's not. We can all talk about what would the issues that we all have with it, but if Chris Eubank Jr. is agreeing to all the clauses that's thrown at him, then what else? You know, if he's agreed to it, that's it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think if the rehydration clause wasn't in place, I don't think Benn would go 6 rounds with him. To be honest, I think he'd get absolutely battered.
Oh, really?
I think it's his only saving grace, to be honest.
We will come to a breakdown and prediction of the fight, but the scenes of the first one was pretty disastrous, really, when you go on about the rehydration clause. Chris Eubank Jr. lining a thermo sleeping bag. I mean, he's 36 years of age now. I think you already mentioned that. You as a boxer, you would know. Tell us as well, at his age, at 36, doing this rehydration clause, how difficult would this be as well at 36 years of age to do this weight?
Well, I'm still making it at 41, but he's a bigger guy than me, Eubank. He's quite a bit bigger than me, to be honest. You know, I remember when I was fighting him the very first time I met him and his father, and I remember the very first remark his father paid to me. He said, "Oh, you're small," which I am a small middleweight, really, in truth. You know, they're big guys, those middleweights, the big middleweights that boil down like Eubank. But you know, I wouldn't put too much. I would imagine Eubank has been wearing those suits for not only for the Benn fight. I would think he'd have prior to that. I don't know. I don't know the guy really, to be honest, very well, and I don't know much about him in terms of that. But I think he might be doing it for quite some time. Like he might have been doing it possibly for my fight. Who knows? You know.
Well, the one thing we can say, sorry to interrupt. The one thing we can say about Eubank Jr. Obviously, you've had the shenanigans with him. he plays a very good game as well, doesn't he? How he, like, you know, you're saying about he's done that in the past with the thermal sleeping bag. He deliberately obviously done it on camera to show and basically highlight his rehydration clause, didn't he? He knows what he's
Yeah,
doing.
I think so. Yeah, he was kind of playing on the heartstrings of the public. I think a bit that way because I would bet that he'd had done it for previous fights also, and I don't believe that that's the big issue making the weight. But like it did show that he missed the weight. He did miss the weight. And he had to pay a fine, so he was fucked. He couldn't make it. So. But it's the rehydration clause the biggest factor, in my opinion. Not being able to rehydrate properly is a killer, an absolute killer. I mean, it's massive, And I think Ben has a better chance in this fight than he did in the last one. I put quite a bit of money on Eubank, to be honest. Pretty big bet on Eubank. I was very confident he'd beat Ben, but even I knew he wouldn't be what he kind of could be. But yeah, I think he's going to be good. Ben might have a better chance this time around,
But are we also dismissing Conor Benn having to step up in weight, or do you think that's an easier task?
Yeah, I would say it is an easier task. Really, you're very, very fresh, full of energy, not cutting weight. That's a massive factor. Like as I said, like I know, like he's a much bigger man, but I know it's heavyweights, but like you look at Usyk against Fury, for example. Usyk battered Fury. Would Ben batter Eubank if Eubank was fully fit and not having to train him to make weight? Absolutely not. He'd destroy Ben.
Well, at one stage, Conor Benn's power was looking very ferocious. He hasn't looked the same in the last 3 fights. What was your take on him failing the drugs test? Obviously, he's been labelled a cheat by many, many people, not just fans of the sport, people in boxing as well. What was your opinion on them failed drugs tests?
I think there's too much going on throughout the sport. There's been so many people failing it, and I think the fines, the bans, they're not enough. They're not enough deterrent for these lads. So, in my opinion, they should be banned for life, a lifetime ban if you're caught taking pens or whatever these prompts and drugs. It's disgusting for the likes of myself who were, training as the best of my ability, fighting to the best of my ability, and never cheating, obviously, and getting beaten by. I think of my 6 defeats, there's been 3 guys have been caught at various times in their careers for performance-enhancing drugs, and I find it fucking pretty pisses me off, because financially the rewards they got really compared to me, some of them, for cheating, they've cheated. So I really, really pisses me off, to be honest. And I just think the deterrent should be a lifetime ban. Because as well, not only because of that, but because there's a couple of boxers die every year, basically, as well. And it's not exactly a sprint or a pole vault or something, cheating to win a running race or whatever, or swimming race, whatever it may be. It's a hurt game. You're in there to hurt guys, beat guys up, and people can end up dying. So I absolutely just no time whatsoever for drug cheats, and but fuck them all,
I can't disagree with that at all. I mean, opinion, do you think Conor Benn was deliberately cheating?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I know Chris Eubank Sr. was on TalkSport, and he said that he walked into the dressing room and when his son was fighting me, and Adam Boot was administering some injection to him, and I don't know if you saw that, but he said that he kind of freaked out on Adam Boot and told him, to take the needle out of his son's arm or something. I didn't actually watch it myself, just loads of people run to me about it, basically, and he said he wasn't sure what Adam Boot was injecting into his son, and Eubank Senior's opinion is Conor Benn looked like an innocent man, and that he felt as though Conor Benn was genuine, and that he felt as though he hadn't cheated, and maybe someone else might have been giving him something illegal.
Yeah.
Whether Eubank Senior is right on that, I'm not so sure.
He's the one thing we can probably agree on with Eubank scene. He's a character, isn't he? That's for sure.
Yeah, become quite good friends with him. I really
Oh,
like him, to be
nice.
honest. And he was the man that kind of got me to fall in love with boxing. Really, his charisma, his ring entrances. I love the whole lot. Big fan, big fan. And they say never meet your heroes. And not the case in this scenario. Anyway, he was such a nice guy. Flew to Ireland. We were going to have a coffee. Wound up having dinner, chatting for about 3.5 hours.
Brilliant.
Class guy, absolutely class guy. There'd never be a bad word said about him in my presence anyway. I'd stand up for him all day long, and I think he's an absolutely great guy.
That's brilliant to hear. But obviously, there's no contacts with like Junior or anything like that, is there? No.
No, there's been no contact with Junior for me, and I think he still dislikes me over giving the kiss, But the reason I gave him the kiss was because we had several press conferences lead up to our fight, and I could tell he was like a bit afraid of getting a kiss from me because he'd seen me kiss a guy before. But the guy slapped me, and I thought at the time, the biggest insult to him would be just I could have punched him back or whatever. I gave him a kiss just to kind of degrade him a little bit in front of all his crowd because it was his home crowd. But Eubank seemed a bit paranoid about that, so he didn't do any face-offs. The only opportunity I got then for the face-off was at the weigh-in. And I felt as though he got the better of me quite a bit, and the gloves were off. He's an intelligent guy, good talker, and very, very cool, and good vocabulary, etc. And I thought, I need to get him back in some way psychologically, and I thought, this is my chance, give him a kiss. And I think he fucking went a bit mental over it. He really
Yeah.
took it to heart, and even though he won the fight, after the fight, he insisted on it. He apologised to him in the ring. I did apologise to him. It was just mind games, to be honest. And I like Eubank Jr. I think he's a good guy. I like seen him messing about with his nephew and all that. And I'm not sure that he watched this, but anyway, I'd like to say congratulations to him as well on his good news having twins, and I wish him the best of luck, and I hope he wins the fight as well against Benn because I'm not a big Benn fan, to be honest. Conor Benn, that is.
That's
Nigel.
That's brilliant. That's really, really good. Like to think that you've had the battle you had and all the shenanigans that Eubank is very good at as well. It's good to hear that he's. Well, back onto the fight of Eubank and Benn. As we know, there's no titles on the line. Very much, they are prize fighters, in my opinion, particularly Eubank Jr. probably more. I'm not looking for a prediction yet or anything like that, but if Benn wins, do you think he will get on the World Title Challenge at, 147, 154? Do you think he will go on to things like
that? Quite possible. He's got a good promoter in Eddie Hearn. He can pull a few strings, and if he beats Eubank, it's going to be such a high-profile thing. And, the governing bodies as well, I think it would make sense for them to have him as he'll have a high profile. Obviously, he already has a high profile, and I think he'll quite possibly get the opportunity. Whether he can win or not, depending on who he fights, I guess. I don't think he's that good. Like, he's not desperate. He's improved a lot, I guess, from when he's on the outset. But since he got caught eating all the eggs, his power hasn't been as apparent. So. I think as well, even if he does manage to knock out Eubank, for me, he shouldn't get the credibility that he would do if Eubank wasn't weight trained and absolutely fucked, like a bit of a shell of a man. He's 60%, I would say. So if he does, I've no doubt the propaganda, the media, whatever, like you want to call it, he'll be like fucking, the next Muhammad Ali kind of a thing, jumping up the divisions, knocking out this guy,
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know the score. Same for Eubank as well. What do you think? For me, a little bit. I'm not sure his punch resistance is there now like it was. Do you think, what would be next for Eubank? Do you think he actually has much left?
I'm not sure. I think he should go back to super middleweight. I think he's better make the weight more easily, and he'd probably be fresher. If he wins this fight, I think regardless, he shouldn't have a trilogy. If he even loses this fight, I don't think he should go for the trilogy. I think it's too much just with this rehydration clause. If the rehydration clause was banished for the trilogy, then go ahead and batter Benn. But I think you should move back to super middleweight. I think the best thing for him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. But it will be interesting to see what happens. I mean, how do you think the fight goes then? What do you think will happen?
I don't know if I'm going my heart over my head. I'm hoping to see Eubank fresher this time. Somehow I don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but hopefully he gets it a bit better this time and he's less strained. You know, that he's come up with some way of rehydrating him better this time around. Even though with the rehydration clause, I don't know how he's going to do it, but I hope he does. I hope he manages it somehow, and I hope he gets the knockout. But I'm not so sure we have the power because he won't be feeling himself, and I think it might potentially go the opposite way. He might get knocked out, you know. But I think I'm going to predict Eubank points again, maybe, hopefully. I'm hoping, maybe my heart is overruling my head. I think I really want him to win.
Well, for me, Eubank is looking better this time at the weight. So the early signs are better. But you mentioned a point there. I've got a feeling that it could reverse this time, and I think because of that grueling fight last time, I think it might have took a lot out of Eubank being the older guy. And I've got a feeling Conor Benn could stop him this time late. But I'd rather Eubank win, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think if Benn kind of conserves himself a bit in the earlier rounds and kind of gives him away to Eubank as such, like just kind of stays a little bit busy, kind of come forward, whatever, put Eubank under a bit of pressure. And, you know, I don't think Eubank is going to be as powerful. He won't be obviously as powerful when he's with this rehydration clause. So his shots won't have as much effect, and Benn will be in his optimal state because he doesn't have to lose weight at all. He just walk around and do whatever he likes, you know, eat what he wants, drink what he wants. He's going to be feeling 100%, like, you know, and he could if he kind of takes it a bit easier and his Eubank tires out, which is inevitable. He could put it to bed later rounds, you know.
Well, it's great to get your opinions on that. It's a very, very interesting rematch. Hopefully, whatever way it goes now, it will be put to bed, and I don't think we will get a trilogy because they're both sort of talking against a trilogy, but we all know that money does talk in boxing.
Yeah.
Onto your career now. You out last month? Was you 6-round points win? Was it?
Yeah. Just kind of got back in, got the cobwebs off and such. I'll be back out again next year. You know, kind of. You know, that's the plan.
Well, your tweet, I think it was a couple of months ago, saying you'd like the Nathan Heaney fight. I thought I'd ask you what I've got you on. Has there been? You said you'd like to have that Nathan Heaney fight. I spoke to Nathan actually about that. He sounded like it was a fight that he fancied. Has there any talks been held at all or anything like that you can tell us about?
No, there hasn't been really any official. I just tell you, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Just how it is, to be honest. There hasn't really been any official talks, but you know, there was a couple of things mentioned behind the scenes. I think by my manager, I think Frank Warren, and that, and I think it's a possibility. It could happen down the road next year. Yeah, you know, who knows?
Brilliant.
It'd be great. You know, I'm a fan of Nathan Heaney. I think he's up there with I think he's up there with the best ring walks of all time. He's up there, like, you know, he's like Nassim Hamid level. He's really cool, man.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I've been at a few of Nathan's fights, and
right.
Yeah, the ring walks, they are like something to behold, being there live.
Yeah,
and he's a great guy as well. He really is, like yourself, really, really top guy. And you'll have to watch that interview. I did mention about the call out, like, and he said to me straight, he said that's a fight I would like. So hopefully that would be good to see. So your career now, how long do you feel that you have left to give in the sport? Do you still feel like there's plenty of life in you?
I feel there's like absolutely loads of life in me. You know, I was inspired by a bit there, to say, with Bonner Hopkins when I was fighting goal by promotions. You know, I mean, Bonner was the oldest world champion in history at 49, and I've got a close connection to him. And you know, I remember at a press conference, I cut the story short, but he picked me out of the whole crowd, and you know, he said he's seen health in me and good fighter, etc. You know, and it meant a lot to me. And coming from him, you know, and being the world's oldest ever world champion, passing George Foreman at 46, and you know, I took inspiration from that, and I feel as though, you know, I could potentially go on to emulate something like he's done. I don't see myself continuing past 50. I'll probably retire before that anyway, to be honest. But I feel really good. I feel really, really good. I think there's loads. I feel like there's loads like that, like loads and loads.
So as regards like fights, we've mentioned, you know, Nathan Heaney. Where you are now in your career, is that sort of like the type of fight you would be heading for, to fight someone like a Nathan Heaney? I would say, I don't know, it's Stoke Ground or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I still to say, I believe I still believe I could become a world champion. I've got the experience, I've got the power. I'm still very fit. I feel really good. Say Bonner Hopkins, world champion at 49. I don't see any reason why I can't emulate him. But Nathan Heaney, that'll be a good fight. I think it's a cool atmosphere. I think it'll make for a good fight also. I think I'll stop him, to be honest. That's the feeling I have, you know.
Exciting fight for the fans, though. Good fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it would definitely be a good fight. Battle of the Tashes might be the billing, you know.
I think he said that to me, actually. About you both.
I got the better tash, and I'm the better fighter.
What shenanigans would you bring up at the final head-to-head? Something different?
Well, I might go for the hat-trick, go for the hat-trick of kisses.
Brilliant.
Kiss Eubank, why not Nathan? He's a pretty hot guy.
Brilliant. Fantastic. I think that's a brilliant way to end the interview, Gary. It's been fascinating to get you on. Always great to have your opinions as well. And I wish you all the luck with your career progression once again. You know, it's great to hear that you're still feeling so fresh and healthy, and you still have the aspirations in the game like you're saying you do.
Sure, Darren. Yeah, I'm only going to my 19th year, so I've got plenty in the tank.
Plenty in the tank. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah, brilliant.
Be seeing you.
That's the one. That's the one. I couldn't think of the name of it then. That's the one, isn't it? Be seeing you. Yeah.
Yeah. Be seeing you.
That's it. Gary, fascinating, as I said. Great for having you on. Thanks for taking the time to come on the channel, mate.
Cheers, Darren. My pleasure. Nice talking to you again.
Cheers. Speak to you soon, Gary. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Bye. Bye.